Have you ever heard of the story that mythology rarely brings up in casual conversation? One that's filled with tragedy, revenge, and the dark side of fate? This is the tale of King Minos, Queen Pasiphaë, and the Minotaur, a Greek myth so haunting that it continues to captivate and disturb to this day. Stay with me as we unravel one of the most twisted tales in Greek mythology. In the grand palace of Knossos, King Minos of Crete ruled with ambition and an iron fist. Desperate to prove his divine right to rule, Minos prayed to Poseidon, god of the sea, for a sign of his favor. The god obliged, sending a magnificent, pure white bull from the waves. The understanding was simple: Minos would sacrifice the bull to honor Poseidon. But pride can turn to folly. Entranced by the bull's beauty and grandeur, Minos couldn't bear to sacrifice it. He kept it as part of his royal herd, defying the god who had granted him such a gift. Poseidon's rage was swift and merciless. He didn't strike down Minos directly. No, his punishment was far more insidious. Poseidon cursed Minos's wife, Queen Pasiphaë, with an unnatural desire for the bull. Driven by a passion that she could not resist, Pasiphaë enlisted the help of Daedalus, the legendary craftsman. He constructed a hollow wooden cow in which the queen could hide to fulfill her unholy longing. What followed was a grotesque act that defied nature and left the gods themselves recoiling in disbelief. The outcome of this dark union? A creature that would haunt Crete for generations, the Minotaur. Born with the body of a man and the head of a bull, this monstrous child was a living embodiment of Minos's defiance and Poseidon's wrath. The Minotaur's very existence was a reminder that no king, however powerful, could cheat the will of the gods. Minos, unable to bear the sight of his monstrous stepson, sought a way to contain his shame. He ordered Daedalus to build the labyrinth, a sprawling, impossible maze beneath the palace, from which no one could escape. The Minotaur was imprisoned there, hidden from the eyes of the world, fed only with human sacrifices sent from Athens as tribute. In Crete, Minos faced the unraveling of his legacy, the death of the Minotaur, the disappearance of Ariadne, and whispers of his defiance against Poseidon left the king haunted by guilt and dread. His power, once absolute, now seemed fragile. The labyrinth, which had once represented his cunning and strength, now stood as a hollow monument to his failures, a reminder of betrayal, divine wrath, and the monstrosity his choices had birthed. The palace halls echoed with an uneasy silence, as if the very walls knew the king's darkest secret. Daedalus, aware of the growing tension in the court, feared that Minos would seek retribution for the role he played in constructing the labyrinth and aiding Pasiphaë. The craftsman and his son, Icarus, plotted their escape, crafting wings of feathers and wax to fly away from Crete's tightening grasp. But their flight would lead to yet another tale of tragic consequence. As they soared over the sea, the young Icarus, exhilarated by the taste of freedom, ignored his father's warnings and flew too close to the sun. The wax melted, and Icarus fell, his cries swallowed by the endless blue below, leaving Daedalus to mourn alone as he reached the shores of Sicily. Meanwhile, Minos's obsession with finding Daedalus grew into a consuming rage. He traveled far and wide, using his cunning to lay traps for the great inventor. His search became the stuff of legend, proving that even kings could be reduced to desperate hunters, driven by an unquenchable thirst for vengeance. In the end, Minos's relentless pursuit led him to his own demise in a foreign court, where the gods meted out their final judgment on a ruler who had dared to challenge their will. But here's the real question: who was truly at fault? Was it Minos, whose pride and greed led to the defiance of Poseidon? Or was it Pasiphaë, ensnared by a curse she could not control? Perhaps it was Daedalus, whose genius only fueled the darkness of those around him. And what of the Minotaur itself? A beast born without choice, condemned to a life of hunger and violence. As the years passed, the tale reached its climax with the arrival of Theseus, the hero who dared to challenge fate. Armed with courage and aided by Ariadne, Minos' own daughter, Theseus entered the labyrinth to face the beast. The clash of man and monster would end in the death of the Minotaur, but the echoes of the story, betrayal, punishment, and the cruelty of gods, would resonate long after. So, tell me what you think. Was Minos' punishment just, or did it reveal the merciless nature of the gods? Was the Minotaur a victim of divine cruelty, or simply a symbol of human hubris? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and follow for more mythological stories that challenge what we thought we knew.